I'm really excited to see something like this possibly come to Flagler County, something that would target families and make us a regional attraction for outdoor sports.
A new sports and recreation complex could be coming to Palm Coast in an underdeveloped part of the city west of US 1. City Councilman John Finelli is excited about the idea.
The economic impact, the positive economic impact, bringing families into our community for outdoor activities and events, which are so important, while keeping that environmental and that forward-thinking process in place.
The city will spend more than $100,000 to study whether the sports complex that could include indoor facilities and an aquatic center is viable. Vice Mayor Eddie Branchino.
There's no such thing as a bad penny invested in kids. Every single cent we invest over here in the kids, it's good. Good for everything. Plus, the economic impact, which I call positive impact. Those impacts that they're going to bring are unreal, especially for the business. $113,000, invest to save.
Palm Coast Mayor David Alfin says the Palm Coast West project will lead to future development in the city.
This will become a model for smart growth, smart managed growth for the future. And I hope that many communities around the state will look to us for the great work that we all are able to achieve here. So I do understand that the study is necessary to plan it out because it's a very complicated process which will take not 2 years, but many, many years thereafter, after this portion is done. So to get started correctly and do it right, we have very little wiggle room to make any mistakes because our future generations are entirely dependent on the decisions that we make in these next months and years.
Sports Facility Company won the city's bid to study the project. A market analysis is expected in 3 months. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. The Florida Department of Transportation is replenishing coquina rocks along a section of A1A in Flagler Beach.
Police Chief Matt Downey says the project is essential to keep A1A open.
This rock revetment program that they're going to install large coquina rocks that they'll be placing on the dunes and on the beach, actually, between South 9th and South 23rd Street. Basically, what the large rocks do is they help fortify the sand dunes. And a lot of those rocks broke apart because of the impacts of Hurricane Ian, but the roadway is still intact, and so they did their job.
A1A will remain open while work is underway, but expect some delays.
There'll be minor lane closures so that the traffic will be reduced to one lane instead of having to divert traffic off of A1A onto side streets, which is a residential neighborhood. It's minor inconvenience. We ask for everybody to be patient and understanding as this project takes shape, and should be maybe 2 weeks. Hopefully the rock will be in place and we can move on to some other projects.
The work does not include improvements to beach walkovers, and existing walkovers will not be disturbed. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
The Flagler County Sheriff's Office is awarded federal grant money for substance abuse programs in jail.
After 2 years of applications and coming close to receiving an award each time, the U.S. Department of Justice has awarded the Flagler County Sheriff's Office almost $1.3 million to build on its program to address substance abuse and mental illness among inmates in Flagler County. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley.
And to reduce the burden on our local taxpayers. It's also part of our philosophy to give an inmate a helping hand up to turn inmate lives around and get them off their drugs for the mental health issues that got them arrested and taken to the grief group in.
Sheriff Staley says the money will be used to boost the SMART program in a variety of ways, including adding a clinician for re-entry therapy and a peer specialist for coordination and follow-up. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
As Florida lawmakers seek to come up with bipartisan solutions to stabilize the state's homeowners insurance market, Republican State Rep Paul Renner is optimistic that changes wouldn't have a huge impact on the budget.
The CAF fund, which is a fund that's set aside and is overseen by citizens, has a very significant surplus in it for just this kind of storm. And so we don't believe we'll exhaust that. And so that will be in good shape by the time we're done. And similarly, we've been frugal in our state spending. And so we've set aside historic reserves. We've got record number of reserves right now. So the good news, if there's any, is that we were prepared in advance and not have to turn around and start cutting spending in places like teacher salaries.
But he cautioned just because the state can weather the storm doesn't mean it won't feel the pull on the purse strings.
The price tag is going to be significant, and obviously you can only spend $1 once. So things that we would have wanted to do more of, we may have to do less of because of the cost of the storm.
Renner says final cost estimates could still be months away. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
There's an amendment on the November ballot that would abolish the Constitution Revision Commission. Flagler County Supervisor of Elections Katie Lenhart said that the governor appoints the members to that commission, and they then propose amendments to the Florida state constitution.
And people think, well, we shouldn't have these sorts of things in the Constitution. That really should go through the legislature, because the Constitution itself is really like a foundational document. Then your statutes build upon that.
Lenhart said that the reason this amendment is on the ballot for the midterm election in November is because some voters do not believe the commission should put forth amendments. Listen to Common Grounds Sunday morning at 10 on WNZF, anytime on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, does my vote count? From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.